A cutter's must, you start a new one? Okay. So a cutter's must is a list of all the pattern pieces that you're going to be cutting according to, you can take three just in case you make a mistake or you want to scribble the first one taking notes. Because I know you guys love to write on paper, right? Okay. So, I'm being sarcastic. Okay. So a cutter's must is what you need to use to have a list of all the pattern pieces that you're going to be cutting per quality of fabric. And that's the key, right? If you were to make a marker is a layout of all the pieces on the fabric that you're going to be about to cut, okay? Let's say that you cut your sweatshirt and you forgot the pocket, right? Guess what? You need to go back and recut all the pockets, right? It's a waste of time where it probably would have fit within the fabric that you already had laid out. So this is kind of like a check mark to make sure that you have all the pieces that you need when you cut a garment. So when it gets to the sewing machine, you're gonna be like, oh, I can't do anything because the sleeve is missing, right? So it happens a lot. To make sure that that doesn't happen, we create a cutter's must, okay? Now, if you are doing any digital CAD program that it will do something related to cutting and creating markers and creating patterns, you're still gonna make a digital cutter's must, okay? So this is kind of training you what you need to do. So a cutter's must, I'm gonna write it on the board when we finish. We color code the fabrics that we're going to be cutting according to the ink color that you're gonna use. This is universal for the industry. Black is the self fabric, is the main fabric of the garment. I'm gonna pick on your sweatshirt because it's just easy. So if you look at Maria's sweatshirt, the bodice has one material, but her neck, her waistband, and her cuffs are made in a different fabric. Does that make sense? If you look at my jacket, I have a lining. I have a different kind of lining for my pocket. I have the fabric on the outside, okay? And I am sure that there is interfacing on the collar because my collar is stiffer than the rest. I'm not gonna take it apart to show you, okay? So black is called the self, which is the main fabric of the garment, okay? So in the case of Maria's sweatshirt, the main fabric of the bodice, that will be the self. You guys have heard me say the word self, I haven't really explained it. So black is self. Green is lining. If you don't have lining in your garment, then you don't use it. It's just as simple. Red is interfacing. And you're gonna find that in certain garments, you're gonna use more than one quality of interfacing. On a tailored jacket, you have an interfacing for the front bodice and the collar, and you have another one for the lining. And you might have a different one to reinforce the pockets, okay? So when you're listing it, you list interfacing 1, interfacing 2, interfacing 3, so you don't confuse them and you make sure you have a list of everything. And the last color is called combo. So it's a combination color, okay? So what does that mean? Going back to Maria's sweatshirt, her cuffs are made out of different fabric. That would be a combination. If we look at your t-shirt, right, that you have striped neckline, that would be a combination. Let's say, for example, we have, nobody's wearing one. We have a color blocking sweater. Let's say, for example, my bodice is red and my sleeve is white, right? What is the main fabric? The body is red. So the sleeves are considered combo. Even though they are the same quality of the self, Because they are in a different color, they will be considered combo. Why? Because if you are physically cutting it, because it's a different color, it comes from a different roll of fabric. Right? Even though it's the same fabric, but it's different. So you have to consider it that way. So let's say, for example, you make a bustier that it has lace and you're gonna have a lining underneath, right? But your lining is not gonna be lining fabric, it's actually gonna be the same fabric as the skirt. So it will be the same self fabric that is on the skirt, right? So the piece will be listed under self, and the piece will be listed again under combo. Now, the same way that we're going to write it on the cutter's must, we're going to write it on the pattern piece on how many times we're going to be cutting it. So for your shirt, we're going to do this. So we didn't put a style number. I encourage you guys to put a style number. So let's call it, I don't know, I'm going to call it Le Shirt. It's a French shirt. Usually, you would write the size of your sample next to it. You also will write your name at the top corner. Forgot to spell my name. Where it says sample in, you're going to list the name of the fabrics that you're going to use. If you have 20, use more pages. Okay? So we're going to use poplin, we talked about yesterday, and we're going to use fusible interfacing. If you were to have more fabrics, then you're going to list them all in here. And then we're going to go into the pattern pieces. I like to write my cutter's must with all my patterns ready so I will understand them. Okay? And sometimes I will go and write on the pattern how many times I'm going to cut it and make sure that it has its name. And then I'm going to list that into the cutter's must. Or sometimes if I know what they are, I'm going to do the opposite. Okay? So I'm going to do the opposite because I don't have the pieces. So I'm going to start with myself. I always start, not myself, my self fabric. Okay? So I'm going to put self, and myself is going to be poplin. And if you know the width of the fabric, you can go ahead and place it here. It's not mandatory, but it will be very easy. Let's say if you're creating a marker and your fabric is only 43 inches, you don't want the marker to be created at 54 because then you're going to have to squeeze all the pieces in, or some of them they're going to have to be cut off to be able to fit into the width of the fabric. So that's why you write it in there. So what are going to be the pieces that I need? I need the right front shirt. I need the left front shirt. I need the back shirt. And all of those, I'm going to cut one. Because I have one right, one left, and one back. So I'm going to put 1, 1, 1. And again, I'm writing it in black because it's the self. Then let's continue with the pieces. Okay? We're going to cut 2 yokes. We're going to cut 2 sleeves. We're going to cut 2 cuffs. We're going to cut 2 sleeve binding. By the way, all of these are called shirts, so we'll follow the same name. Okay? Then I have 2 sleeve placket. And you asked me about a pocket, Daryl. I'm going to show you. If you have a pocket, then you're going to put 1 pocket here or 2 pockets, right? So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
How come the yoke is 2 when it's just 1?
It's one pattern, but you cut double.
Heard.
All yokes on shirts are double, or the reinforcement of the body.
Does it get interfacing or no? The yoke.
We're going to get there. So what is missing to all this list? Exactly. So 2 collar stand, into color. So those are our 10 pieces. Then we switch into red. Okay? And we're going to put interfacing. And I'm going to put weft fusible. And I know that that is also 58 inches. It's actually 60, but it has a salvage, and you never use the salvage. So you want to make your marker a little narrower. So what are the pieces that go on interfacing? 2 cuffs,
The collar.
2 collar stands, and 2 collars.
And none on the yoke.
No, the yoke doesn't get it, and the placket doesn't because it's folded on the same fabric. This is your cutter's must. Okay? Now, how is it going to be on your patterns? Let's do it here on the yoke, but you need to do it on all of them. So, we have a grain line, we have a name of the piece, we're going to have a style number, which is Le Shirt. Okay? And we're going to cut to self. So I'm going to do it in black. Don't do it in pencil. Don't do it in anything else. Do it in black. To self. That's it. That's how your pattern is going to be. May I have that color, please? So I can show you a different one? Okay. So, again, my style number is Le Shirt. And this is the shirt color, your name, the size. And we're going to cut to self. And we're going to cut in red to weft or fusible interfacing, whatever you want to call it. So the purpose of being in a different color is when you have all your patterns spread out, you recognize all the ones that are red, and then you put them together and you create your marker, and you're never going to forget any pieces. When you're cutting your black, you look at all the pieces that are written in black, and then you cut those. And then you're going to go back and cross-check it with your cutter's must. Okay? Last, when you hang your patterns, you guys have seen me that I cut a hole on it, right? By the way, the rabbit's eye punch hole is at the front. You guys can use it. I'm going to bring it so you guys can see how it's used, okay? You're not going to do it on the edge because the paper is going to rip. And when you hang it, you always hang this at the front of your pattern. That way, when you're looking through your patterns and you're looking for one specific one, you're going to find a flat. You guys know how to draw flats? If you do, please draw them. Put them in here. If not, let's find a little picture of a flat of a shirt and we'll put it here. Okay? And you're going to have it in black and white, and you're going to have it the front and the back view. Okay, so they're always asking if I need a pocket. So where do you want the pocket? On the right or on the left?
I'm gonna stop the video.
You can start.